I want to talk to you about design and technology as a GCSE option because it's one of the most important things that you can possibly do as a career route, but also it's a really useful GCSE in terms of life skills and transferable skills for other industries. I often start with this as a kind of talking point because remember, we live in the made world. We live in a society where we enjoy our technology and our architecture and our transportation and our electronics, many of which are only available because people are designing products and systems that allow that. So design and technology as a GCSE feeds directly into that. I'm going to show you some slides of student work and talk you through what the content of the GCSE is. But I'm not going to go into huge detail because obviously that would take forever. So I'm showing you these as a couple of examples of where computer-aided design has been used to improve the design solutions from the first ideas. We do that a lot in GCSE where we make improvements all the time. CAD is a fantastic tool for that. The GCSE in design and technology is by no means a woodwork or a metalwork GCSE. In fact, we don't specialise at all really, and the important thing is that we solve problems. Now that might be through using wood, that might be through using metal, or it might be an electronics project. So depending on what your particular interests are and where you might choose to go for a career or further training, the GCSE design and technology can certainly feed into that and demonstrate what you're capable of doing and your personal interests. I've got a particular, I like this design sheet because it shows where this particular student has used a range of different model making techniques, from card model making to 3D prototyping, fitting with existing products to make a hydroponic system in response to a design brief from the exam board. Very strong project, really good iterative design, making a series of improvements using model making. This student here was also responding to an AQA design brief, and you can see the model making, the CAD model making, some design sketches, and the fact that we write specifications and make sure that our design solutions meet the requirements of the user. And then we've got a design sketch here which I think is really nicely done, and it shows an annotation with some different drawings from different views, looking at how water would pour through. So that student's really considering that hydroponic solution before going into CAD model making. Why should I choose to study GCSE design and technology? Well, there's a range of different soft skills which I'll kind of talk through here. It shows creative thinking, technical understanding, good communication skills, evaluation and decision making, the ability to apply computer-aided design where appropriate, design development, project planning, and environmental awareness. Now, all of those things could be brought to play in any number of careers, whether that be through pure design or whether you go into management or even into seemingly totally unrelated careers. So those skills are really transferable and really important part of GCSE design and technology. How will I be assessed? Well, it's 50% exam and 50% what we call NEA, non-examined assessment. That's what you guys would maybe know as project work or coursework. So 50% of it is a written exam like you would do in any other subject. The other 50% is where you do your designing, model making, prototyping, responding to a design brief. So that's 50%. The great thing about that is that if you are particularly strong at one element of it and maybe not so confident with your exam technique, the NEA can help to offset that. So it's I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but it means that you can play to your strengths. The exam is a combination of written and multiple choice and a little bit of drawing as well. What will my lessons be like in design and technology? Well, that very much depends on where you are in the course at that particular time. At first, you're probably going to be very led through a series of very specific projects. As you get into year 11, you then start to open up and you're doing your own project. It broadly breaks into thirds, so you'll have some computer-aided design and design drawing lessons where you learnt those techniques of design communication. You will have a lot of practical lessons to make sure that you've got the skills ready for you to do your designing and model making and iterative design later on, so it's very hands-on. We often refer to intelligent hands, where by understanding the making processes you can make design decisions. And then you're going to have theory lessons, because 50% of the GCSE is about how you apply that knowledge, how you talk about materials and processes. So inevitably you have to have some theory lessons which are written extended questions. So it's a bit of a combination depending on where you are. How will it help you in future studying careers? Well, as I've said, lots of soft skills that are transferable into other subjects. I've given some examples on this slide of the design careers that you might go into, and then I could do 5 of those slides. Design is a real job. It's a really important part of the national economy, and it's transferable globally. And Britain does produce really good designers and engineers. So there are some examples. There are many, many, many more of ways of people earn a good living in the design industry. And I think probably really importantly these days, in a busier and more competitive world, having a design and technology portfolio really feeds into making you stand out as a person. It shows what you as an individual are capable of doing, which is maybe different from where some of the other qualifications sit, because lots of people are going to be doing the same things, and actually your GCSE in design and technology could really help you